fight that we're going to cover right here, AJ. This was 16 seconds, so we don't have a lot to talk about. But Davion Franklin oblique kicks Everett Cummings and then just kicks him, smashes his face in. I want to ask you this. This is an ethical thing for me, AJ. Do you think that this fight should have even taken place? Do you think that Everett Cummings was simply outmatched, even though he had a good record? Maybe he was fighting cans, maybe he wasn't. But I want to ask you, when you see in the weigh-in someone who looks like they're not there mentally, right? Everett Cummings the whole entire time, from the weigh-ins to the whole entire night, he just looked like kind of scared, like it was the lights were maybe a little bit too big. Maybe he wasn't like truly in love with fighting or whatever. I don't know what it is. Should this fight, like, should a commission approve a fight like this, or what do you think?
That's hard because you don't want to be a commission that comes in and takes something from somebody when they might just be looking scared. But that's just how everybody. If you're not nervous for a fight, you're not ready for the fight, man. You're not. That's for any sporting event. You're not nervous to step in that ring. You're doing something wrong. You're probably going to get hurt. In this case, homeboy was nervous and he still got up getting hurt. That knee he's feeling that one for sure. I think that one comes down not necessarily more the commission, because the commission doesn't know you on a personal level. They haven't been training with you. They don't know how you react or how you're going into a fight. What your normalcy is. They don't have that intrigue or that behind the scenes action. Whereas I do think it belongs to the coaches. If your coach is sitting there and, you're like, oh man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. He either needs to motivate you in order to get you, to fight ready, or throw the towel in, man. Like that's, if it's all about safety at that point. And the last thing you want to do is go into the ring. You're not even wanting to fight. You're just wanting to pull the Ben Askren and get the payday. And you end up getting hurt. You have to spend more money towards that injury, more money towards this, more money towards that. So it's a double-edged sword, because, I never think you should want to pull out your fighter. You signed a contract, you're getting him ready for the date, everything's going well, but then the day of, you get a little bit of nerves, that's going to happen. So I don't think you necessarily want to pull him out, but it was from the weigh-ins and everything, it did look pretty one-sided, and homeboy did look, at least shook a little bit. So I think that it's hard. It's there's no real fine line for me, or there's no real yes or no for me. And like when you pull somebody out, unless, they're, obviously, quitting, on the thing, and the fighter's not really, or the referee's not stopping the fight or anything like that. And there's, a bigger safety concern, but it's hard. I don't think you should ever pull somebody out of a fight unless, there's a verbal quit or agreement or anything like that going forward. Derek, what do you think?
I mean, you summed that up pretty poignantly, my man. I will have to say that even if they did want to throw in that towel, there was not enough time, man. It was a 21-second knockout, man. So it's like the fight starts, you just throw it in immediately. Be like, no, bro, we don't want this smoke, man. The thing that killed me was that Davion Franklin in the weigh-ins, he was just staring at him, right? Looking him in his eyes, and he was like tilting his head like, oh, like, you're not ready for this. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dang, do you even want to fight somebody like that? To me, it's like, I don't even want to fight you because you don't feel like a formidable opponent. You know what I mean? Something like that, right? But then again, we'll talk about the Sugar Sean O'Malley talking later about how he likes to beat up on cans because he's getting paid the same regardless, so it doesn't matter. But I will say that for Davion Franklin, man, the question that I need to ask you, AJ, because I do think that this is important, how does this benefit him at all, man? Even when they were asking him post-show, Big John McCarthy was all like, what did you learn from this? And he was like, I don't know, man. Like, I just got to go in there and just handle business and all that, man. If this isn't a learning lesson, if you only spent 20 seconds, you just spent, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks training for this fight, got him out of there in 20 seconds, kind of Ngannou-esque, right, where you're just touching people and they're just falling down and all that, man. The question becomes truly, we already mentioned this in the preview show, man. It's like, at what point you're going to run into somebody at one point you're not going to be able to knock out. What are you going to be able to do then? You know what I mean? Just tell me, do you think that there was anything that could have been learned from this?
I think the biggest takeaway, at least from what I saw Davion Franklin, is homeboy needs to plan ahead and learn to cut a promo, man. There's nothing worse than when you get the only mic time at Big John's coming up and he asks you a question, you go, I don't know. Like, I guess I punch hard. Like, I forgot his exact answer, but I saw him say it. I was like, damn, Big John gave you the absolute opportunity to cut to promo, get your next fight in line, keep the ball rolling. And you said, like, that is not a good look. I mean, I think every fight, honestly, if you want to go about it from the entertainment standpoint, you want to take the easiest fight possible for the most money possible. in competition and, in the good, the good actual passion of the sport, you want to fight the best of the best. But on the entertainment side, you just want to whoop up on some cans for some money. So there's, both factors going in. And I think either way, it could have been a learning lesson for Davion Franklin as far as, like, hey, yeah, sure, I got this guy out pretty quick. But, it taught me, X, Y, and Z, or at least, like I said, cut a promo for yourself so you can get somebody a little bit better. Even if you say, I whooped up on this dude in 16 seconds, Scott Coker or whatever, it's not Sean Shelby, it is Coker. Give me somebody better than this bum you sent me next time. Cut something. Give yourself a little something for the future going forward, man. Because every lesson is, every fight is a lesson. And you have to learn something from it. If you're not learning, you're not growing. Once you're not growing, you're dead, man. Especially in this sport when it's moving so fast. So I think there's a couple learning lessons for Davion Franklin going forward. Derek, did you see any lessons he could have learned from it? I know it was a 16-second fight.
I mean, I will say one of the lessons is I ain't seen him throw that oblique kick, so maybe he's just working on a couple new techniques, Maybe he's like, all right, now this thing will land, now I know. But then, once again, man, I don't know. He called out Jake Hager, actually, after the fight, right? Who's like the WWE guy who's in Bellator, right? So it's like, clearly we can see the trajectory in which he's trying to go. And I think that's going to be the new wave, man. I think there's going to be less and less people saying, I want that gold, and more people saying, I want the big fight. I want the money fight. Even though Franklin did say, he's like, I'm not here to beat up on people. I'm here to dominate, and I'm here to become a champion. Like, that's what he says he's here for. However, Jake Hager is not going to get you any closer to that belt. So it will get you some money, though. So that's important, man. But yeah, I agree, AJ, man. You just got to definitely make the gas that it took to get to the event, make it worth it by cutting a nice promo, man. Like, make your time worth it at that point. But there's really nothing to talk about here. Big win for Davion Franklin, number 7. We'll see if he moves up or not. Everett Cummings, man. Valiant effort, I suppose, but like I said, it was just one of those where it was just a little surprising, man. So